So, when we talk about healing the body, many people think the answer must be complicated, expensive, or hidden in a laboratory. But what if I told you that some of the most powerful tools for healing are already on your plate? Your body was designed with extraordinary defense systems, systems that can protect you, repair damage, and even help slow the growth of cancer. The question is not whether your body can fight back. The real question is whether you are feeding it the right information. Food is not just calories, food is data, and every bite you take sends a signal to your immune system, your blood vessels, and your cells, either helping disease grow or helping your body stop it. One of the most important discoveries in modern medicine is that cancer cannot grow without a blood supply. Tumors hijack the body's blood vessels to feed themselves. But here's the breakthrough. Your body already has a natural defense system called angiogenesis control, which can stop abnormal blood vessel growth. Certain foods actively support this system. Green tea, for example, contains catechins that have been shown in laboratory and population studies to suppress blood vessel growth that feeds tumors. In regions of Japan where green tea consumption is high, researchers have observed lower rates of certain cancers. This is not magic, it's biology. By choosing foods that protect healthy blood vessels and block harmful ones, you are helping your body starve disease while nourishing itself. To another powerful food hack lies in colorful fruits and vegetables, especially berries. Strawberries, blueberries, and blackberries are rich in polyphenols, natural compounds that reduce inflammation and oxidative stress. Chronic inflammation is like gasoline on the fire of disease, including cancer. I once met a patient who believed food had nothing to do with her health. After incorporating berries into her daily routine, just 1 cup a day, along with other lifestyle changes, her inflammatory markers improved significantly. Small changes done consistently can shift the internal environment of your body from one that allows disease to thrive to one that resists it. So let's talk about the immune system, your personal army. Cancer cells can form every day in the body, but a strong immune system can identify and destroy them before they become dangerous. Foods like mushrooms, especially shiitake and maitake, have been shown to activate natural killer cells, which are critical immune defenders. In clinical studies, cancer patients who consumed mushroom extracts alongside conventional treatment showed improved immune responses. This is not about replacing medicine, it's about supporting your body so treatments work better and recovery is stronger. To healthy fats are another underestimated ally. Extra virgin olive oil, rich in polyphenols, doesn't just protect the heart, it helps reduce cancer related inflammation and supports cellular health. In Mediterranean regions where olive oil is a dietary staple, rates of chronic disease are significantly lower. I often remind people that fat is not the enemy. The wrong fats damage the body, but the right fats help cells communicate properly, repair themselves, and resist abnormal growth. To finally, let's talk about fasting, not extreme dieting, but giving the body a break. Short periods of time, restricted eating can activate cellular cleanup processes like autophagy, where damaged cells are recycled and removed. This process helps reduce the risk of disease and supports long-term health. I've seen patients regain energy, mental clarity, and metabolic balance simply by allowing their bodies time to reset. Your body knows how to heal. Sometimes it just needs space to do the work. The most hopeful message I can leave you with is this: healing is not about fear, it's about empowerment. Every meal is an opportunity to support your body's natural defenses. You don't need perfection, you need intention. When you choose foods that protect blood vessels, strengthen immunity, reduce inflammation, and restore balance, you are not just eating, you are healing. And that is something each of us can start today. When we talk about starving cancer, it can sound frightening, almost aggressive, but the truth is far more hopeful. This is not about attacking the body. It is about supporting the body's own built-in intelligence. One of the most powerful systems we are born with is the ability to control our blood vessels. Every second of your life, your body is deciding where blood should flow and where it should not. This process, called angiogenesis, is essential for healing wounds, growing new tissue, and maintaining health. But cancer tries to hijack this system. A tumor cannot grow beyond the size of a pinhead unless it builds its own blood supply. Without blood, it cannot get oxygen. Without oxygen, it cannot survive. The remarkable part is this: your body already knows how to stop that from happening. I remember meeting a patient who asked me a simple but profound question. She said, "If cancer needs blood to grow, why doesn't my body stop it?" The answer is that sometimes the system becomes overwhelmed, especially when inflammation, poor diet, and chronic stress send the wrong signals. But when we support angiogenesis control with the right foods, we help restore balance. This is not theory. This is science that has been studied in laboratories, hospitals, and real communities around the world. To take green tea as an example, For centuries, it has been part of daily life in many cultures long before modern medicine tried to isolate its benefits. Today, we know that green tea contains natural compounds called catechins that can block abnormal blood vessel growth. In laboratory studies, these compounds have been shown to slow the formation of new blood vessels that tumors depend on. In population studies, regions with higher green tea consumption have shown lower rates of certain cancers. This doesn't mean green tea is a cure, it means it supports a system that your body already uses to protect itself. Another powerful example comes from tomatoes, especially when cooked. Tomatoes contain lycopene, a compound that supports vascular health and reduces inflammation. Inflammation is like a constant alarm ringing inside the body, confusing the signals that control blood vessel growth. By calming inflammation, foods like tomatoes help the body regain clarity. I've spoken with people who believed food changes were too small to matter, but when they learned that even modest daily choices could influence the biology of their blood vessels, something shifted. They stopped seeing food as background noise and started seeing it as information. What makes this approach so deeply human is that it doesn't ask for perfection, it asks for consistency. The body doesn't need extreme measures to respond, it needs steady support. When you regularly consume foods that protect healthy blood vessels and suppress harmful ones, you are gently reminding your body how to do what it was designed to do. This is especially important as we age because angiogenesis control naturally weakens over time. Supporting it through diet becomes a form of self care that compounds over years. See, I've seen this mindset change how people relate to their health. Instead of living in fear of disease, they begin to feel partnership with their body. They understand that every meal is an opportunity to either help a tumor build supply lines or quietly cut them off. That shift from fear to empowerment is transformative. It reduces stress, which itself is a driver of inflammation and poor immune signaling. This is not about denying medical treatment or making unrealistic promises. Modern medicine saves lives and food works best alongside it. But when patients nourish their angiogenesis defense system, treatments often work better, recovery can feel stronger, and the body becomes more resilient. Healing is no longer something that happens only in a clinic, it becomes something that continues at home, at the table, day after day. So, the most inspiring part of this science is its accessibility. You don't need special equipment, you don't need rare ingredients, you need awareness. When you drink green tea, enjoy tomatoes, eat berries, or choose foods that calm inflammation, you are participating in a biological process that is ancient, intelligent, and deeply personal. Your body is not passive, it is listening. And when you feed it the right signals, it responds with strength, balance, and hope. When people hear the phrase healing the body, they often imagine something complicated or out of reach, but healing is actually one of the most natural things your body knows how to do. From the moment you are born, your immune system is working silently in the background, scanning for danger, repairing damage, and restoring balance. The real question is not whether your body can heal, but whether we are giving it the right conditions to do its job. Cancer at its core is a failure of balance. It is what happens when damaged cells escape the immune system's control and begin to thrive in an environment that unknowingly supports them. What is extraordinary is that food can directly influence this environment. I often tell people that your immune system is not weak, it is misunderstood. Every day, your body detects and destroys thousands of abnormal cells before they ever become a problem. This process is called immune surveillance. Cancer develops when this surveillance is disrupted by chronic inflammation, poor nutrition, and metabolic stress. But here is the hopeful part. Many everyday foods can reawaken and strengthen this immune response. This is not wishful thinking. This is supported by decades of immunology research that consider mushrooms, for example. Not the exotic kind hidden in faraway forests, but simple mushrooms found in grocery stores. Shiitake, matake, and even white button mushrooms contain natural compounds called beta-glucans. These compounds act like trainers for the immune system. They don't overstimulate it, they educate it. Studies have shown that beta-glucans can activate natural killer cells, the very immune cells responsible for identifying and destroying cancer cells. I once spoke with a cancer survivor who said adding mushrooms to her diet made her feel like she was warming her body quietly, without force. That feeling of quiet strength matters. Another powerful player is the gut microbiome, a vast ecosystem of bacteria living inside you. These microbes are not passive passengers. They actively communicate with your immune system. In fact, more than 70% of your immune cells are connected to your gut. When you eat fiber, rich foods like legumes, vegetables, and whole grains, you are not just feeding yourself, you are feeding the bacteria that help regulate immune responses and reduce inflammation. Research has shown that people with a diverse and healthy gut microbiome respond better to cancer treatments and have stronger immune resilience. Food becomes a conversation between you and your immune system. Cruciferous vegetables such as broccoli, cabbage, and cauliflower offer another fascinating example. When you chew these vegetables, they release compounds like sulforaphane, which help the body detoxify harmful substances and reduce inflammatory signals that cancer cells exploit. Think of inflammation as noise. The louder it is, the harder it is for your immune system to hear the warning signals. These foods turn down the noise, they create clarity, and clarity allows the immune system to do its work with precision. Now, what makes this science deeply personal is how it restores a sense of agency. I have met patients who felt powerless after diagnosis, as if their body had betrayed them. When they learned that simple food choices could support immune defense, their mindset changed. They were no longer just waiting for healing, they were participating in it. This emotional shift is not trivial. Stress hormones like cortisol can suppress immune function. When people feel empowered, stress decreases and immune signaling improves. Healing becomes both biological and emotional. But it is important to be clear: food does not replace medical treatment, but it can make the internal environment less welcoming to cancer and more supportive of immune strength. Think of it as preparing the soil. If the soil is hostile, weeds struggle to grow. If the soil is balanced and resilient, healthy plants thrive. Your immune system is the gardener, and food is one of its most powerful tools. What inspires me most is that this approach is inclusive. It does not depend on age, income, or perfection. It depends on intention. Each meal is a chance to reinforce immune surveillance, reduce inflammation, and remind your body of its original design. When people understand this, they stop seeing food as calories alone. They see it as communication. And when you consistently send your body messages of support, it answers back with resilience, strength, and a renewed capacity to heal. One of the most underestimated forces in healing the body is metabolism, the way your body uses energy to fuel every cell, every repair process, and every immune response. Cancer thrives in chaos, especially metabolic chaos, when blood sugar spikes repeatedly, when insulin remains chronically high, and when cells are constantly bathed in excess fuel. Damaged cells gain an advantage. They grow faster, adapt quicker, and evade normal control systems. But when metabolism is supported and stabilized, the environment changes dramatically. Healing becomes easier, and cancer finds it harder to survive. I often explain this with a simple image. Imagine a city where electricity is flooding every street nonstop, lights blazing day and night. Systems overheat, signals malfunction, and eventually something breaks. That is what constant high sugar and refined carbohydrates can do inside the body. Cancer cells are particularly addicted to sugar. They consume glucose at a much higher rate than healthy cells, a phenomenon known as the Warburg effect. This is not speculation, it is a fundamental observation in cancer biology. When we moderate blood sugar through smart food choices, we are not starving ourselves. We are depriving cancer cells of their preferred fuel source. Whole foods that slow digestion and stabilize blood sugar play a crucial role here. Foods rich in healthy fats, plant proteins, and fiber, such as nuts, seeds, legumes, and vegetables, help flatten glucose spikes. I once met a man who had struggled with fatigue and inflammation for years. He thought feeling exhausted was just part of aging. When he shifted away from refined carbohydrates and toward whole, fiber-rich foods, he noticed steady energy returning within weeks. His blood markers improved, but more importantly, he felt like his body was finally working with him instead of against him. That sense of internal cooperation is powerful. Another metabolic lever lies in the timing of eating. Your body is not designed to process food nonstop. Giving the digestive system regular breaks allows metabolic pathways to reset and repair mechanisms to activate. During these fasting windows, the body engages in autophagy, a process where damaged cells and components are recycled and removed. Autophagy is like housekeeping at the cellular level. It clears clutter. Cancer cells, which rely on constant fuel, struggle in this environment. Research has shown that intermittent fasting can improve insulin sensitivity and reduce inflammation, both of which are linked to cancer risk. So inflammation itself deserves attention because it bridges metabolism and disease. Chronic inflammation acts like fertilizer for cancer. It encourages abnormal cell growth and weakens immune responses. Certain foods actively suppress inflammation, including berries, olive oil, fatty fish, and spices like turmeric. These foods contain bioactive compounds that lower inflammatory markers in the blood. In clinical studies, people who adopt anti-inflammatory eating patterns show reductions in C-reactive protein, a key marker of systemic inflammation. Lower inflammation means clearer immune signaling and better metabolic control. What often surprises people is how quickly the body responds. These systems are dynamic, they are not fixed. Within days of changing food choices, blood sugar patterns shift. Within weeks, inflammation markers can drop. Within months, metabolic resilience improves. This is not about waiting years to see results. The body is listening all the time. When you provide the right signals, it responds with efficiency and balance. There is also an emotional dimension to metabolic health. Constant blood sugar swings affect mood, concentration, and motivation. People feel anxious, irritable, or depleted without knowing why. When metabolism stabilizes, mental clarity often returns. I have seen individuals regain confidence simply because they felt mentally steady again. That emotional stability reduces stress hormones, which further supports immune and metabolic health. It becomes a positive cycle. To this approach reframes healing as something active rather than passive. Instead of asking, "What is happening to me?" people begin to ask, "What signals am I sending my body today?" Every meal becomes a choice between metabolic stress and metabolic support. This is not about restriction, it is about alignment. Aligning food with the biology that keeps cells healthy and defenses strong. One of the most profound yet often overlooked healing systems in the human body is our ability to repair damage at the cellular and DNA level. Every single day, your cells are exposed to stressors, pollution in the air, chemicals in food packaging, ultraviolet light from the sun, even byproducts of normal metabolism. These stressors can damage DNA, and when that damage is not repaired properly, cells can malfunction, age faster, or turn cancerous. What gives me hope and what I want people to truly understand is that your body is not defenseless against this. In fact, it is equipped with sophisticated repair mechanisms that are active right now as you listen to this. The question is whether we are supporting or sabotaging them. So I often say that cancer does not begin with a tumor, it begins with damage that accumulates silently over time. But the story does not end there. The body has built in systems designed to detect DNA errors and fix them before they become dangerous. This process depends heavily on nutrients derived from food. Certain foods provide bioactive compounds that directly support DNA repair and protect cells from oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is like biological rust, it corrodes cells from the inside, weakening their structure and confusing their signals. When oxidative stress overwhelms repair systems, disease gains ground. The berries offer a powerful and relatable example. Blueberries, strawberries, and blackberries are rich in polyphenols and anthocyanins, compounds that neutralize free radicals before they can damage DNA. In human studies, people who regularly consume berries show improved markers of DNA protection and reduced oxidative stress. I once spoke with an older woman who began adding a small bowl of berries to her breakfast each day. She didn't expect anything dramatic, but over time, she noticed improved focus, better skin tone, and a sense of vitality she thought she had lost. These are not miracles, they are signs of cellular systems working more efficiently. Another key supporter of cellular repair is vitamin C, found abundantly in citrus fruits, kiwi, bell peppers, and leafy greens. Vitamin C does more than support immunity. It plays a direct role in protecting DNA from oxidative damage and helps regenerate other antioxidants in the body. In clinical research, higher vitamin C levels are associated with lower markers of cellular damage. This is important because cancer cells thrive in environments where damage goes unchecked. By strengthening repair and protection, we make the internal environment less favorable for abnormal cells. Cruciferous vegetables such as broccoli sprouts, kale, and Brussels sprouts add another layer of defense. When these foods are digested, they activate detoxification enzymes in the liver that help neutralize and eliminate carcinogens before they can harm DNA. This is not about cleansing trends or extreme diets. This is about supporting a natural detox system that has existed for millions of years. When this system works well, fewer toxins circulate, inflammation decreases, and cellular repair becomes more effective. To what makes this science emotionally powerful is how it reframes aging and disease. Many people believe that damage is inevitable and irreversible, but when they learn that food can activate repair pathways, something changes inside them. They stop seeing their body as a machine that wears out and start seeing it as a living system capable of renewal. That shift alone can reduce fear. Fear creates stress, and stress hormones can impair DNA repair. Calm, confidence, and intention matter more than we realize. There is also a deep sense of dignity in this approach. Healing is not outsourced entirely to medicine, it becomes a daily partnership. Each meal becomes a message to your cells: repair, protect, restore. Over time, these messages accumulate. Studies show that dietary patterns rich in antioxidant and DNA supportive foods are associated with lower cancer risk and slower biological aging. Telomeres, the protective caps on chromosomes, tend to be longer in people who eat diets rich in plant based nutrients. Longer telomeres are linked to better cellular longevity. This is not about chasing youth. It is about preserving function, clarity, and resilience. When cellular repair systems are supported, tissues function better, immune responses sharpen, and inflammation quiets down. Cancer cells, which rely on chaos and damage, find it harder to gain a foothold. What inspires me most is how accessible this is. You don't need perfection, you don't need expensive supplements. You need awareness and consistency. A handful of berries, a serving of greens, a plate filled with color. These are small acts with biological consequences. Your body is constantly repairing itself. When you nourish that process, you are not fighting your body. You are standing beside it, giving it what it needs to protect you, cell by cell, day by day,